Hey, can you hear me? Look, check it out. Ignite Her has launched. It is 2025. I'm just picking up clothes from one of my friends who had some extra clothes to help out the Ignite Her program. If you have any gently worn business attire, clothes for women who are out here doing the work but maybe do not have the clothing that they need to get the job done, we need your old clothes. Hit me up in my inbox or through House of Peach. The program is called Ignite Her, where we provide clothing to women who may be transitioning from one job to the next and maybe don't have the means to buy clothes. It could be going from working at McDonald's to now working in an office. So we're looking for gently worn business clothes. Make sure y'all hit us up, all right? Please hit us up. We need those clothes. And check right below there. If you're not in the state of Delaware, you can mail them to us. Or if you're in Delaware, we'll pick them up. Y'all have a great evening.
Well. It is that time once again. Welcome. The House of Peach proudly presents the Boss Ladies Lounge. And you know who I am. I'm April Anderson, and I have missed y'all, but it is time for another show. And this is the last Monday in June. So, what does that mean? The last Monday of every single month is our He Said, She Said segment where we just talk about all topics, whatever. It's just off the wall stuff. But it's coming from a place of we want to hear the male and female perspective. But unfortunately, some of the gentlemen are a little afraid to come on to the show. They think that this is strictly women. They can't come in and give their opinion, put their 2 cents in. Come on. Even though we're highlighting women and what women are doing, we have a He Said, She Said segment for that purpose. And the title says, He Said, She Said. Oh, okay. I thought I might have that in there the right way. But it's a He Said, She Said segment. So if you don't want to come on the show for weeks 1 through 3, but that last Monday, this is your time to come in and give it from your perspective. So y'all stop being scary. Come on now. Men, come on now. Now y'all want to talk behind the scenes, but you don't want to come and say it on live. Don't do that. Because what I'm going to do is I want to say, well, bring it to the show. Bring it to the Boss Ladies Lounge. Let's talk about it out in the open for everybody. You may say something that another man wants to say, but he's just not wanting to say it. However, I digress. Today is another He Said, She Said segment. How have y'all been? What's going on? How was last week? How was the weekend? I'm still trying to recuperate from all this traveling that I've been doing, and I got to find the time to rest. Y'all, rest is so important, so I need to rest. But my schedule since I came back from Arizona has like doubled my responsibilities, what I have to do. So I had to go and get my real planner, not that play stuff that y'all get with the little, I need something that has multiple lines so I can write every single thing that I have to do down, because I'm a visual person. And if it's not on paper where I can look at it and follow, guess what? It's gone. And I forget to do it. So I went and got that real planner with a lot of space so I could write this down. However, now, side note, I need y'all to do something for me. I need you to like, tag, share, heart, whatever it is, whatever platform you're looking at this on, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook. My Instagram don't want to act right, don't want me to be great anymore, but I'm great anyway, even without Instagram doing like it's supposed to do. But I'm going to blame it on Restream. I'm not going to blame Instagram. It's a Restream thing, but I'm going to fix that so I can be there. But all of these platforms here that you can watch the show, all of these platforms that you can share it. If you go on my page, share it. Like, tag. If you're on the House of Peach page, share it, like, tag. If you're on Morgan's page, share it, like, tag. If you're on YouTube, like it and share it. Come on now. We want to be kind to one another. Help a sister out. Can you help a sister out? We have a lot of traction. We're doing well, but there's always so much more. I want to give a shout out to Morgan. I know she's going to be coming in a minute. She held it down last Monday. I had just got off a plane and I was not in the right mindset to come on the show and say anything. I would probably be sitting here looking like this. That's not me. I like to have things to say. I like to have input. So if I'm depleted, like I'm not going to come on here and give you a half-hearted hosting show. I'm not going to do that. But today, because I missed last Monday, I was excited about today to come on and talk about this topic. So let's do a little housekeeping here. There's a QR code in the top of your screen. I don't know if it's on the left or right side. It's on the left side for me. It's probably on the right side for you. Whatever side it's on, you see it, you scan it, you subscribe. And within a few weeks, we will launch the app for the House of Peach. You can go on and see interviews. We're going to, oh, that reminds me. I probably need to write my first article. Oops. On the list, got to put that on the list to do. But on this app, every single thing that you could think of to keep in contact and communication and connected to the House of Peach, the Boss Ladies Lounge, and every single other thing that's under the umbrella of House of Peach will be streamed in that app. So guess what? You can go to the app and you can see everything. You can get in contact with who you need to get in contact with and ask the questions that you need to ask. You can come on the show if you want to. Hey, let us know what you got going on. And we'll say, yeah, let's put you on the schedule. I still have 3 people that I need to call for July. And I need to call them ASAP. That's got to go on my list. See, I told y'all I got to have that calendar, write it down. Otherwise, it's gone. I guess that's what getting older means, that you forget stuff. I don't know. On a funnier note, I go to the eye doctor last Friday, and of course, my eyes have gone to the other side, and I need thicker glasses, thicker lenses. Well, not the actual lens, but more medicine in the lens. Why? As I'm sitting there, I chose my frame, and I'm sitting there with the optician who's putting everything in. Why did the eye doctor come by to stress the points, the strength of it to her? Like, chill, lady, you don't need to just stress this. She can read the numbers, as if to say, she really needs this strength. Like, make sure that you know that this is a point, ... Like, ma'am, I don't need you to do that. I already feel bad that I have to wear glasses continuously now. Well, at least while I'm on these computers. You don't have to stress that. Calm down. Like, I already feel bad. But I just want to make sure that you see that. And I gave her a look like, beat it. Just get out of here. But as we age, as we get older, things don't work like they used to. My eyes, and because I work remotely and I'm on the computer for 8 to 10 hours a day, my eyes say, listen here, chick, I'm going to fail you. I'm not going to work like I used to. Now you older and you know better. I don't care how many filters you put on that screen. So y'all, it's important. I said all that to say, number 1, to make you laugh. And number 2, to take care of your health. Take care of your eyes, take care of your ears. You even, keep yourself moving so you're mobile greatly as you are getting older, because there's people that don't do anything. And as they get older, they get stiff and it's hard to move. Come on, y'all can do a little something to keep yourself moving, keep those joints working. So, hey, Charla, so happy to see you on here. So y'all, come on. You had a hearing test today? Oh my, I can imagine. I can imagine. However, we are going to have a good time. I'm going to go ahead and wait till Morgan comes in. But listen, I saw a video. Hello, Lady Smith. Yes, for the safety of the site. Right. Because once nighttime comes, some people have difficulty. And then you have the headlights coming to your direction and they're doing all kind of crazy stuff to your eyes. Like, I don't need to be up on the steering wheel looking like that. Come on, I'm not doing that. So let me do what's necessary, because the last prescription they gave me last year, I never got them filled. And she thought that she hadn't given me one. Like, yeah, you did. I just didn't get it filled. So now I'm paying the price for that. When that other prescription, which wasn't as strong, probably would have held me up. But hard head. My grandmother taught me that a hard head makes a what? Soft behind. So I was hard-headed. So now I have a stronger prescription, and I'm not going to dwell on that much more because it's breaking my heart as I'm talking about it. But at least God has given the ability to men and women to create lens with a certain amount of medication in them to help correct whatever is going on in your eyes. So thank God for that. Thank God for that. All right. So let's see. What else? Y'all, look at here. Now, this may not mean much to most people, but it means something to me. I got some new ink this weekend. Y'all, when I tell you I was breathing hard trying to get myself together because this ink took a lot. But I love it. I still have one more little piece to add to it. But shout out to Casso up in Valdosta, Georgia, who did this 4 hours long to put this new ink on me. But it's amazing. I've gotten good compliments already on this. So anyway, tonight's topic, I didn't put it in there, but we want to talk about it. So a few weeks ago, Morgan sent me a video, and I'm not going to show it because I can't find it to pull it up anyway. It was so far back. There's so much communication that goes on between Morgan and I. And in the video, the woman talked about if pregnancy. And so if a man and the woman can go, and if she doesn't want the baby, she can abort the baby. She can terminate the pregnancy. And so there's nothing said about her at all. But if the man says, I don't want this baby, but she wants to keep the baby, now the dad's a deadbeat. Now, this sounds a little one-sided to me. And if you want to come on here and put your 2 cents in, we're going to put the link in the chat here so you can see it, so you can come in and give me your 2 cents. So I never thought about this. I never even contemplated, because we are always so focused on the woman and we never consider the man. So if there is a decision, like he says, I don't want this. And then the question was, is he still responsible for child support, even though he clearly stated he didn't want it? Well, and is she now in trouble herself? Or is she, if she decides to abort or terminate the pregnancy and he wanted, should there be consequences for her? Now this opens up a whole can of stuff, whole can of conversation. And I don't think it will ever come to where both sides are pleased with whatever decision is made. However, should we take that into consideration? Number one, what do you need to do to prevent this from happening, period? Nobody wants to talk about that, how we take chances and then things happen and now we want to try to back out of it. So if you do what's necessary, I know, you can say, I got caught up in the moment, but you better take a breather and do what you need to do before you go all the way in, or do stuff to prevent it. Women, we got all kinds of birth control stuff. And I'm not only talking about pills or shots or, there's a lot of things. Same way with the men. Now, they don't have pills and shots, but maybe that might be something they need to consider for those that just want to do what they want to do. So what are your thoughts? So if she has the baby, she carries the baby to term, and he has already made it perfectly clear, hey, Mel, I don't want this baby, but you yet still have this baby. Now, is he required to pay child support? What do y'all think about that? Is he still required when he clearly stated? Now, since I work in surgery, we don't do anything to patients. In healthcare, we don't do anything to patients without a consent that has been signed and dated. It's a legal binding document. Should that come into play? Because I think on those lines, if we get ready to do this, and there's a possibility of me getting pregnant, and you don't want kids, and I don't want kids, we need to sign a document that states if this happens, especially if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then you're not responsible for this child. Now, if and I can only speak for myself, if I were a man, I would not want any of my children to be around and I not be in their life. Now, that's just me. The same way with me giving a child up for adoption. Like, I'm not knocking anybody that had to do it for whatever reason, but I just can't imagine having any of my children around here. They're mine. I carried and had, and someone else is raising them. So, but that's just April. That's just April. So should this man be responsible for child support or be considered a deadbeat? And then you know how the states do. They want you don't pay child support. What do? Now you get a warrant for you and you going to jail. All because you are the biological father of this child that you said that you did not want. And she was like, well, I'm going to do it anyway. Some women are petty. Some of us are petty. We do that kind of stuff. It's not right. I'm not condoning it at all. However, this is a he said, she said segment. I just want to know your thoughts. I want to know your opinions on this. Oh, the men's birth control pill was shot down by the FDA. Is that a fact? Why is that, I wonder? I bet there are deeper things in that. Charlotte, thank you for telling me that because I didn't even know. The FDA can do whatever they want to do. They govern a lot. We don't have any control over it. We can lobby and we can go to legislation and we can do all of that. But if you don't have enough to make it happen and make it stick, it's not going to happen. The government truly is in control. So, if we can get the link to now on here, I would love to hear some people's perspective. I don't want to just sit here and ramble on because I got my own thoughts and my own opinions on this. Number one, don't put yourself in that predicament. Don't put yourself in a situation that you would have to make a decision either way, especially if you're not ready to have children, if you're not ready to go down that road of parenthood. Don't put yourself in a position for it to happen. Now, we know everything is not 100%, but you need to do what's necessary so it doesn't happen. Like, don't take those chances. Side effects of men birth control. Well, we have side effects. What do you mean? Well, women have side effects that are really bad, from blood clots that could instantly kill you if one of them moved, weight gain, hormonal imbalance, like all of that stuff. So both sides will have issues why that is not working, but you got to take some kind of precaution. Carson said, well, I wouldn't even want to have a baby from a man who says that. That is true. That is true. That's something that needs to be discussed prior to, and then the necessary precautions need to take place before y'all get involved in any kind of extracurricular activities. Y'all know what I mean. I know it might be some kids around. I don't want to say it, but all of that. So those discussions, people don't want to communicate. I need to find out where you're going, what your desires are, what you're thinking. What are you long term? Like, is this getting ready to be something permanent? Are we going to be together? We get married or something like that? If I don't have any kids and this is about to be permanent, we're about to get married and you want kids or you don't want kids, whatever. If I'm at the stage now, I don't want any more kids. I'm no. So that's off the table 100%. So we're not even going down that road, but the conversation needs to take place so everybody can be on the same page, so you don't end up in this situation where you're going to be paid. I don't want this baby. Or you can be the woman that says, you know what? I want to have this baby. I'm not going to put your name on a birth certificate, and I will take care of this baby by myself. Now, that's going to bring a whole lot of scrutiny up for this woman, because her family's going to be like, well, you need to make him do something. No, we already had a discussion. This is what it is. And you go about your life. Some women will be petty. No, even though you said that, but if there's no legal binding, nothing that has been notarized, and would it even hold up in court? Like, would the court even hold this up? I bet if you got that thing notarized and you had a meeting with a lawyer, but it's possibly going to be a fight. So having these conversations prior to are important. So you don't end up in a situation where now, are you the deadbeat? Is he the deadbeat? Who's the problem? Where is the problem? Who's the issue in this situation? Is it the woman, or is it the man, or is it both? In my opinion, they both bear responsibility, because you do grown folks stuff, you have to put up with grown folks' consequences. Point blank. So have the conversation. Do what's necessary. Research this. You need to know who you're with anyway. And that's on the male and the female side. Don't get connected and doing these type things with people that aren't ready, that aren't mentally stable, aren't financially stable, have a job, have goals, have dreams, because you're going to end up in the same boat regardless. So is he still responsible when he clearly stated, I do not want this baby? I don't know. No. I had a friend, and I just remember this, a friend back in college, that this happened to her, but it wasn't her that didn't want the baby. No, it wasn't her that wanted to keep the baby. It was him. He wanted to keep the baby, and she was like, absolutely not. And she went and had the pregnancy terminated. Now, he was distraught, because this would have been his first child, and he wanted this child and had all these plans. And she was like, no, I'm in college. I just got here. I'm like within, my first year, not getting ready to happen. And so she terminated. How would you think what would you think about that? Would you fault her for that? Would you fault him? Would you fault them both? Everybody has a responsibility. So nobody wants to come on here and talk to me. I got to sit here and talk about this all by myself. Okay, then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So what about other situations when one doesn't want to do and the other one does? And how about in marriage? Let's talk about being married. If you are married, and this is, same situation, but the two of you are married. What is that? What's going to do with that? Now, the legal aspects of it, there's a responsibility because you two are married. And if he is the biological father of this unborn baby, he was the one for the products of conception, because that's what we call in surgery, then the law says you're accountable. But what will happen if he so chooses not to do anything, hands off? What are the consequences of that? Can you put the link in there for everybody? Because Mel wants to come on and have something to say. Now, this should be interesting. This should be interesting. So if they're married, does the game change? How will we look at that? How would you delve into that? What is it that you would say about that situation? Well, that goes back to having a conversation prior to, just like Carson said, she wouldn't want to have a baby with a man who said that anyway. So why are we not having a discussion? There has not been, there it is, Mel. There hasn't been enough communication where everybody knows where they are. I don't want to be in a confused state about anything. at all. I want to know where I stand. I want to know what's going on. I want to be able to move forward because we know that God is not the author of confusion. If there is confusion, you need to get out of that. Carson said, if we are married, we having a baby. Okay. That's what Carson says. She said, if we married, we having a baby. Now, I think it depends on what stage in life you are. Now, when I get married again, there will be no babies. That's why I'm not talking to nobody that wants one. Sir, do you have kids? You want more kids? And if he says yes, X, done. You're not a candidate. You are not, because I'm not doing it. And I make that very clear. We probably need to go our separate ways because I'm not having children. This is why I have a age group of men that I date. Like, if you in a certain age group or you don't have any kids and you're in this age group, you are not a candidate, sir. Because I'm not doing that. I don't want to have that. I actually had someone tell me that they could talk to me but still have a baby with somebody else. I said, excuse me, sir. Say what now? So he was going to be in a relationship with me, but then have a baby with somebody else. Yeah, I blocked him quick, fast, and in a hurry. Are you out your mind? Yeah, not happening. So I made it very clear from the beginning, and he made it clear what he was going to do. Cool. You go your way, I go my way, and we leave it at that. That's what it is. So there is the link to come on. You don't have to stay the entire time. You can come on and say what you need to say and exit out. Or I would prefer if you stayed on a little bit and we have some conversation, because I feel like I'm talking to myself and I don't want that. But we're discussing this evening, if a couple, and they're not married, could be married, whatever the situation, if she gets pregnant and he says that he doesn't want the baby, nothing to do with the baby, don't want kids, period, and she decides to keep this baby, is he responsible? Now, the law would probably say, I don't care what you said. Your DNA is in this baby, so you're responsible. However, if he is savvy enough to go to a lawyer and find out what he can do, I'm sure the lawyers will have a field day with this. There is a possibility. I'm not saying that it's 100% because I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what all the laws are. But I want you to weigh in, whether it's in the chat, whether it's coming on the show, whatever it may be. We got YouTube, Facebook, all of these platforms for this. I want to know what your thoughts are, because I may not think about it from all aspects. I may not think about it from all angles. And this is something that really could happen. Clearly, there was a video done about it. So it had to happen to someone. It's just like watching these. Somebody thought, but there was something that triggered it. Hey, Mel, what's going on? He has to unmute.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. How you doing? Good
I'm
evening.
good. How are you?
I'm all right.
So talk to me.
What you want me to say?
No. I want you to say what you want to say. Don't say what I want you to say.
No, I'm saying, like, you gotta, prep me, lead
Okay.
me.
Oh my God. Come on. You've been listening since I started. So
How you know
if
I've been listening? I got in at a certain time, but go ahead, ma'am.
you heard what I said. So the woman gets pregnant. The man has clearly told her, I don't want any kids. I don't want this baby. I don't want this baby at all. And she decides to have the baby. Is he still responsible to take care of this baby?
How I truly want to answer it, I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna be PC with it. No,
What?
he should not be responsible. He should not.
I want you to go back to the part where you're not PC. I want to hear this. I want to hear the real raw.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, and I think I said this to you. If I didn't, I'm gonna put it out there. 2 years ago, the Minnesota Supreme Court ruled that it is unconstitutional to put men on child support. Okay,
Mm.
and people could go research this for the sake of the platform. I'll say allegedly, because when you speak like this, when you're a free thinker and whatever, YouTube kind of like whatever. But people could go look this up, and I
Mm-hmm.
come with facts when I speak on
Okay.
certain topics. I like to be factual. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, yes, it's unconstitutional. First and foremost, I forgot which president. I want to say it was Lyndon B. Johnson, who came up with the $300 welfare thing. Now, if we go back, right, and it was done to more our community, where when they gave these women this, and for the women to get certain things, the men had to be out the picture. And I'm talking about with housing, and all this other stuff. So if people, again, if you just watch, if you pay attention, you see the play, how the play has happened. Because back in the early times, men was there, they also was there to provide, right? And
Mm-hmm.
to also protect the household and strengthen the household as men, right? We're not saying women can't do that, but once you remove the man, it's kind of easy to infiltrate. You get what I'm saying? So this whole
Mm-hmm.
system kind of got like, I'll say this. I have a friend of a friend, and I was actually there. And this female said, "Oh, I want to hurry up and get pregnant again so I can keep certain things."
Oh, wow.
Yes. So some people's mind frame, this is what it's about, or it's about a check. You know what I'm saying? And I personally know a friend who started I could have him come up here, but anyway, he started a Future Fathers Foundation, and me and him been cool. I met him. We haven't met personally, but we've been cool with each other off of YouTube for about 5, 6 years now,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows how active I am in my children's life. So there is men that do take care of their responsibilities and what they have to do, minus how the mother of their children or child may be acting. Like that's one thing I always told her. She even told my family is that she would never try to stop me from being a father. You get what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Not saying that she would be able to anyways, because me, I'm one of those. I'm not just gonna fall back and let things happen to like how you said. If
Right.
a female wants to go with that process and I can't be involved, you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy, but this is some people's mind frame or mindset, I should say. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it is deemed unconstitutional. Not only that, like you said, you get jailed, right? They want to take away your license, right? Which they say is it's a privilege. You know what I'm saying? I could go deeper with all of this type of stuff with the license and driving. These are things that is supposed to be part of our constitutional rights. We're not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to have license and all that. But I'm gonna stick to what we're talking about. I don't feel like a man should be held responsible for that. And I know the clip that you're talking about because I actually am subscribed to the lady's channel. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And I think I told you she was pardoned by Trump, the lady who was talking about that. I
Mm-hmm.
think I don't know if she was on her platform or someone else's platform, but yeah, she was pardoned by Trump, and that's how I found out like what her story and why she got pardoned. And then she used to do a lot of topics like that, like great talking points, and conversations that need to be had in our community that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't want to talk about, especially when you're telling the facts and the truth. And to
Right.
me, it should never make people uncomfortable. If we want to have these discussions, let's just be blunt with one another. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it's just like when men go to the barbershop, and we speak to each other, we don't hold back. We don't censor what we saying. We speak bluntly with one another, just like some women when they go to the salon and get their hair done. So these things should be talked about. You know what I mean? So, I couldn't wait for this show today, actually.
Okay, so what if you say he should not be responsible? All right, I'm gonna let you have that. But
Mm-hmm.
what if, when, not if, but when the child gets older and
Mm-hmm.
they realize it's just been them and their mother,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're starting to ask questions about who their father is.
Mm-hmm.
What should she or could she say? Or should she get them in communication with each other? Like he said from the beginning that he didn't want this child.
Correct.
But
I
now
mean,
the child is asking who their
mhm,
father is. And she can't lie. I mean, she could, but that's totally unethical. Like, why would you
correct.
do that? So,
Correct.
how should she handle that situation? It's
Well,
going to happen.
my first answer would be like she should tell the truth. You know what I mean? She should tell the truth. That's one. And two, try to reach out to the father and see if actually his mind changed
Mm,
from from the beginning to that point of time where, let's just say, the child is 18, right? So this is 18 years later. Maybe his mind frame might change. Maybe he might think differently now, you know what I'm saying, because 18 years went by. We're supposed to evolve as we get older in age, you know what
mhm.
I'm saying, and stuff like that. So but I think first and foremost she should be honest and be truthful, just like the women who slander the child's father in front of the child. Oh, your daddy's a good for nothing, he's a bum, and they put it out there like that, right? And stuff like that. So be honest with that.
Yeah.
you know
So she should be honest and tell the child that your father didn't want you.
Correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Why
Now,
not?
okay. So let's go here
You
because
told me
my
to be
mind.
blunt. You told me to be blunt, so I'm
No.
coming with it.
I want you to because
Okay,
now I'm dominoing and I'm not domino, but I'm snowballing.
I
Okay.
got you.
So now that this has been said and she's shared with the child that your father did not want you, but this is who it is. Now, let's just say this child's before in 16 on up, 16 to 18, 19, something like that. And
Hmm.
because of frustration and anger because their father did not want them, they go out and commit some heinous crimes, or they're just really angry and all of that. Who is responsible for this? Because now we got the law involved, and it's all a result of the information that they found out about the father not wanting them. And so now they feel this way. Now I could go the other way, and they now commit suicide or whatever. But I want to go down the side that where death doesn't come, but this stuff happens. So now, what are we going to do with that?
What if? What if? What if? Right?
I'm a
Okay.
snowball thinker. That's how
I
my mind
mean,
works.
listen. That right there, I wasn't prepared for that type of question. I wasn't prepared for
You
that.
never know what's gonna come out my mouth. That's why I'm like,
True.
that's I think like that in surgery. So I could go in for something simple, for a simple case, and then I could think about all of the bad stuff that can happen to make sure that I'm prepared for it. So I naturally do that. So that's how my mind has gone with this situation, because it can happen. Like, it's stuff
Correct.
like this has happened because somebody's done something to the child, or they find out they weren't wanted, and
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
everybody is going to respond that way, but they've
Yeah.
committed
Correct.
some crime, or some crimes plural,
Hmm.
who now of course they're going to have to face the consequences. However, who's really, and you gone.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Okay,
Can
now
you hear
who's
me?
huh?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I hear
Hold on.
you.
Wow, I gotta leave it. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh man.
can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hold on. Let me leave and come back.
All right. So now my mind has snowballed, and we've gone from telling the child that the father did not want them, and now they've gone out and done some crazy stuff that's against the law. Now, who's responsible for that? Of course, the child has to pay the consequences for it, but can they incorporate this information into their court case? And how are we going to deal with the child after the fact? So the actions of the parents have now resulted in this child that's doing something that they should not be doing. So back to, we need to have conversations ahead of time about this, so we don't. That's another life that we're messing up. Okay, you back?
Yeah, sorry, I had
No,
got a
you good?
call. Yeah, I can't stand that. Nobody calls you when you ain't doing anything. The minute you're busy,
That's why
you,
when I do anything that's required on live, I put my phone on do not disturb.
I just put that on.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just thought about it. Well, yeah, like going back to what you were saying, like, see, that would be a tragedy right there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If that was to happen, But I mean, I'm gonna try to be logic here and think like, okay, this is an 18-year-old. They got a different mindset. I'm not saying, they a grown adult, but they a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm gonna say like, I don't, again, that's kind of one of those questions. Like, I mean, but we'll just say for the sake of the show, right? Hopefully that doesn't happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they get told this by their moms, or okay, and they take it one way or they take it another way. Because I'm pretty sure if the mother tells them, well, your father didn't want you, knowing how I used to be when I was little and how I am now, I'm gonna follow up with why, what
Mm-hmm.
happened. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna ask
Right.
these questions. So, because again, I've always been, even when I was young, I always wanted to know what it is and what it's not.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's either black or white. I never liked the middle, the shade of gray, for lack
Mm-hmm.
of better words. You get what I'm saying? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna ask the questions. Why? Okay. Oh yeah, well, he didn't want you, but why? And then now I'm gonna be like, what did you do to make him, not want to be in the picture? Again, I think about, because I have some friends that, you know, um, years later, as they got to be adults, they found out who their biological parents are. But
Mm-hmm.
me, I'm the type of person, if somebody wants to tell me something, I'm gonna be a great listener. I'm not gonna, come with the shovel and be like, yeah, so when you met your father for the first time, what was the questions? You know what I mean? So I never got into those conversations with them. But I see that it was, lack of a better word, it was refreshing that they actually found out they were adopted by a family, raised by a family, which they thought that's where they really came from, but
Mm-hmm.
find out like as they got older, I guess when the time was right, or maybe they kept asking and asking and asking, and they reach a certain age to where they can handle, the information or the answer. And
Yeah.
a lot of them, I noticed that it was refreshing. Again, I didn't ask them like, did you ask your moms or did you ask your father like why he wasn't there or whatever. There's a lot of people, and I noticed too, right? A lot, and I've seen this on TV shows, a lot of parents that wasn't in their child's life when they was young, when they connect earlier, again, it's more of a better understanding because they can have a conversation, and then they get a more of an explanation on why. Well, I gave you up for adoption because I didn't have no support. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't I couldn't handle it, or I was strung out on drugs, or I was out here selling this and selling that. You get
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So, but
Right.
that's, again, you asking me that, like, what now? What if that the child was to perform well, commit a crime? That's kind of like,
Yeah. So Kivas said there are consequences for their actions. Kivas,
correct.
you can always come on the show. I haven't seen you in a minute, so you could come on too. But so I think about these things. That's why communication is really important. And we've talked about this before about communication and how important it is because everybody needs to know where the other person stands. So before I want to know what your thoughts are initially so I can make the decision if I want to engage with you in anything. Will it not be, always sexual or a friendship or a relationship or whatever that case may be? Oh my, he put the finger up. What?
We listen. I came up here to bring the realness, right? I
Okay.
get I get your point of view and I respect that.
Uh-huh.
But we are in 2020, right? And I could even go back to when I was a teenager in the 90s. Who has these conversations when you either was lusting off of this woman when you saw her at the grocery store or you saw her at the club? Who's having who's asking those type of questions? Oh, you know what I mean? Like, who, like, let's be real.
Okay, but all right, I get that. I get that
Mhm.
100%. But when you
Uh-huh.
get ready to engage in sexual activity that could
Hmm.
cause her to get pregnant, her family, her parents should have taught her at least, and of course his parents, but that doesn't always work. Either way, it doesn't work. But
Correct.
somebody needs to be pouring into them to let them know, hey,
Correct.
this is what you need to do. We can't stop you, but
Correct.
we can protect you. This we can teach you how to protect yourself so this does not happen. No,
Correct.
people not now mature adults should be having this conversation, but a lot of the mature adults don't. They just get caught up
Correct.
in the moment. But we got to educate people so this
Correct.
kind of stuff doesn't happen.
No,
This
but
is
I'll give you this too, right?
uh-huh.
Artist self. I'll give you this too, right? Our era, at least we had to go outside, right? So
Mhm.
we had, because we didn't have these cell phones and stuff, so there was a form of socializing.
Mhm.
So that just came to me. So I'll give that. But I was more thinking of this generation now
Okay.
with
Oh yeah,
the
they don't.
texting. Yeah, me. I'm a person, like, I like to hear somebody's voice,
Mhm.
right? And I'm big on energy, like I always stress. So by me hearing that woman's voice, I could tell what type of mood she might be in, what type of day she's having. But again, we had more of the socializing when we came up, right? Whether we was chilling at the basketball court, the playground, whatever, school, just there was that interaction with one another. So
Right.
you had more of a time to actually, get to know the person that you want to, be with. And
Right.
another thing too, men and women, a lot of people are great actors and actresses, right?
Oh yeah.
A lot of people can tell, yeah, I'm gonna tell her what she want to hear. Oh, yeah, I open doors for women. Yeah, of course I'm gonna. Again, we come from the era of courting, right? We heard that word. Oh yeah, I courted her. Now
Yeah.
they saying I bagged her, and I'm
Oh
like, yeah, so she's groceries. So this is what I'm saying. Like, how do you really get to know someone in this particular time? And there's people that's our age and a little bit older who don't socialize. They
wow.
doing this too. And
Yeah.
last time I checked, like, how do I get to know you if this is what we're doing all day?
Right.
Instead of meeting up, actually going to the coffee shop or a tea shop or to a smoothie shop, and really interacting with one another and putting the devices, like you said. Oh yeah, I want her attention, and I want her to see that I'm invested in her. Do not disturb. Put it down. You get what I'm saying? And really
Right.
interacting instead of like, yeah, so how you doing, April? So how was your day, April? Oh, you had a great day. Oh, me too. Like,
I
but
had
again,
I had a couple guys do that to me for a solid week. All we did was text. And at the end of that week, I said, we've been texting for a week. Are we not having a phone call? No conversation, nothing? Oh, I'm gonna call you. And that call never came. And blocked. I put them on the block list because what? I'm not going your texting buddy. I'm not that person. We're not doing that. Now, if I'm busy or you're busy, then we can, find some time, but
uh-huh.
no.
So you a blocker.
Oh, facts, 100%. So, oh yeah, if you try to call and it goes straight to voicemail, or you send a text and it doesn't go through, you blocked. Why? Why am I going to waste my time and my energy?
I'm gonna bring this up, right? That's a fact. I'm with you on that too, because I'm not doing this either. I'm not,
Yeah,
like, I'm at, like, we need to converse, have conversations, like,
yeah,
feel each other out. Especially, I like the face to face thing, because over the phone somebody could still have their fingers crossed, and stuff. The toes is crossed and everything. You know what I mean? But now face to face, I see you like, yeah, I'm a good guy. Yeah, I'm be like this, like, but anyways, so I seen this, right. Wow, I just lost my train of thought. I just had it too. What I wanted to say is, so yeah, a woman said, right, and she had some great points in this video. She said to weed out the nonsense, the clowns, whatever, and she was talking about both sides, the
mhm,
men and women, right, not to be doing anything, right, no intimacy at all, but date multiple people to see who's best suitable for the
true.
job, right?
I agree.
And then again, me being the person that I am, I'm like, who really is going to be sitting there dating multiple people with no intimacy, especially if the other person is super attractive? A lot of us, men, women, we think with our other brains, okay, and stuff like that. And again, a lot of people are great actors and actresses. They good, salesmen, I would like to say, or saleswomen. you know. So they're gonna tell you all the good things and this and that. But again, it's to me, it's about the energy. You if you ain't going with your intuition, your gut, you know what I mean? Like, but again,
So
we're
why
in
do
this.
we? And I know we're in 2025. And wait a minute,
Mhm.
before we do, Kiva said relationships now and more are more of a transactional based than partnership based. That is true. That is
That's a
true.
fact.
That's the time
Who
that
said
we
that?
live in.
What's her name?
Kiva's.
Kivas?
Uh-huh. He
Oh,
said that.
oh, he said that part of
Yeah.
self. But yeah, that's a fact because I'm lusting off of, the Coke bottle, right? And her, and we've had this conversation where it's social engineering, social programming, right? With the Cardi B's, Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion. What are their lyrics are rapping about? Remember, I told you, to me, it's a destruction on the young girls. In my era growing up in the 90s, it was a destruction on young men with the gangster rap, or the late 90s, I would say, with the gangster rap. Now it's just sleep with him, use him, get what you can get out of him, and move to the next.
I agree that there are a lot of women like that. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, there's a lot of us that aren't like that. I'd like to put that out there because I'm in the
That's a
group of
fact.
that's not like that. I don't want nothing. I got
That's a
my
fact.
own. However, I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at you. I'm looking at what
Correct.
you bring to the table as far as who you are, your personality, your
Facts.
conversation, your drive, your ambition. That's what I'm looking at. I care less about your money. What? I
Facts.
got a job. I make money, whatever. So that's not important to me. But people today, they just do stuff. Everything is super sexualized. Would you agree with that? Everything is super sexualized. So that's all people are focused on. They're not focused on, let me get to know this person because I'm like this. I'm not trying to die by myself. Oh no, there's going to be me getting married again, and me and him are going to live our lives out. Okay, we're gonna do
Facts.
that. So I don't have time for the riffraff and the foolishness. So if you're not interested, cool. All right.
Correct.
Now
Correct.
you talked about the dating the multiple people and see who's best on both sides. I can
Mm-hmm.
do that. I've done that and not be intimate with none of them.
Yeah.
It's about discipline. It's about not putting yourself in a situation that's like, and if I make the decision to do it, is because I wanted to do it. I didn't get myself all
Correct.
caught up. Like, no,
Correct.
I'm too old for that.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you can do that because I have in the past, I don't know how we got on this topic, but I have done this in the past where I've dated one at a time, and this one turned into a fool. So now I got to back to the drawing board again. And I'm like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because if I can weed you out, I still have, and this may not sound good to people, but if I can weed you out, I got a couple others here that I'm still seeing where they go. Now, if I
Correct.
weed them all out, all right, well, it is what it is. Start all over again. But I'm guilty of just getting connected with someone and things are going well. I'm like, okay, this might be the one. And then I go 2-3 months down the line and then
Mm-hmm.
the bottom falls out. That happened to me last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was like one person, 2-3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then the bottom fell out. And I was like, what happened? No
Yeah.
explanation whatsoever. I had no clue what went down, why it went the way that it did. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Never found that information out. So I am of the persuasion, and this is just me personally, let's just have your little roster. It's not like men don't do it. Come on, don't some men do that, Mel? I said some men. I didn't say you. I said some men.
No, that's a fact. I mean,
Okay, then.
yeah, that's a fact. I mean, but listen, but women, you guys always have options. I don't care if you in a committed relationship.
Are you
Women
kidding me?
are listen. You got your work husband. Yeah, you
I
got
work
you.
remotely. I have no work husband.
You got the husband. No, not you per se.
I've
I'm just
never, but
saying.
I'm
Yeah,
just because I'm a
yeah,
woman. I'm jumping
yeah.
in.
I
When I
got
work
you.
actively in surgery, and
Hmm.
it's been 20 years, I never had a work husband. Never. I wish I
Never,
did.
never had a
Never.
work husband.
Never.
Well, okay.
Spouts,
Well,
how
I
you do
guess
spouts honor?
I, I guess you're one of the few, right? Okay, you're one of the few. But some, I'll say not 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 will
Mhm.
have a work husband, coffee shop husband, the gas station husband. Okay, like
Where these
y'all have
men at?
options as well too. Y'all have options too.
So okay, I'm going because I can only talk about myself. I can't talk
Mhm.
about other women, and that's probably very well true. But I can speak for me with no option. Like seriously, I'm out, like they say, out in these streets. I'm out here traveling and doing this and doing that and going to events, and it's like nothing.
Yeah.
So I know, right? Pete said gas station husband. Hey, I never heard of it, but what have you ever? So
Yeah,
not
meaning like
all
when
of
you
us.
go to pump gas, Peach, when you go to the 7-Eleven or the Wow Wow, whatever is in y'all states, whatever the gas stations is called, Shell, Mobil, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The guy that you always see at your local gas station. Listen, the grocery store, husband, you know,
Keep
all the spots you frequent, all the places a woman frequents, and a man, men too. I'm not just saying it's y'all, but I'm just saying women have options.
y'all
Women
have
have
lots.
options. Not
Kivas,
all women though. Not all women. That's a fact. I'm
true,
not gonna
true,
say. I'm not gonna generalize it. But
right.
some do.
Some women.
Me, I know me. I'm very I'm stingy. I'm not for sharing. Yeah, I'm gonna share my food. I'm gonna share the things that needs to be shared. But when it comes to me being with one, I want to be exclusive. I don't want
Off
no
the rip.
community. Yeah, I don't want no community. Nothing.
Off
I'm
the
all
rip.
set. Yes. Huh? What you say?
Off the rip. You want to be exclusive from the day one.
No, but I like to joke around and say once we talking, we're in a relationship.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's that's just it's a
Kivas
joke. I mean
said,
that's just something I throw out there. I just like to get reactions sometimes. You
well, we're
know,
going to talk about that. But Kevin said it's not the same for men. Three options for women supersedes the options for men. What? What do you mean? You got to
uh,
explain that. Kevin, I need you to come on here because you got to explain yourself because I feel like I'm getting a little heated.
see, no, I feel them. Listen, I'm
What
gonna
does
tell you this.
he mean?
I'm gonna tell you this. I learned this from my father a long time ago. I say about when I'm telling my age. I was gonna put the year out, but anyways, when I was 12. I would get caught up in a lot of stuff. My dad was like, listen here, son, do what you're good at. Lying is not your forte, it is not your thing. So, me, again, I'm a blunt person. I'm very outspoken, right? Now, when it calls for me to be that way. So, I would get caught up in my lies, right? And
Hmm.
again, if I'm lying to you, I'm one of those people. I'm going to be like, yeah, I was with Tyrone and Mike and John. Yeah, because you're gonna feel you get what I'm saying? You're gonna
Hmm.
feel the energy. Now, again, there's some people, I've dated a woman who would look past the windows of my soul and tell me I was all hers. And even though I told her, I know what she did, she still was in denial and wanted to take it to the grave. So some people are good at it, just like some men is great at lying. See, to me, if you lying that much, if you a compulsive, chronic liar, habitual liar, you all three, listen, you're good. I give you that. You can have that. I'm not. I'm not. I'm gonna get caught up because I'm gonna forget that I told you I was with Tyrone. You might ask me on Tuesday. I said I was with Mike. You asked me Wednesday. I said I was with Ricky. Then it's Bobby, Ralph, the whole new edition. And
Hmm.
I'm gonna get caught. So I'm not. Listen, man. Yeah. Now for some men, to what Kivas was saying, I just know that some men might have one to y'all three. Now I'm
Hmm.
not saying there ain't no men that might not have a roster. I'm just saying I know some men might have one on the side, the potential or the maybe or whatever. But women, I listen, I don't care what y'all say. There's usually three.
I
Like I
want to
said.
know where. Well, Kivas also said women curve more men on the regular than men curve women.
No, that's a fact.
Well,
That's a fact.
go.
Some women, you know what they do? They have this little. No, I agree with him. And I was on a platform. We had this conversation where it's a thing for them, like how it was back in my time. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Wood, right? Where
Hmm.
they was like, "Yo, we going to the school dance. Let's see who gets more numbers than each other." Right? That was men thing, right? Young
Hmm.
teenage boys. That was our thing. Women nowadays, that's their challenge to one another. Let's see how many we can curve. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah.
Oh wow,
Oh, I'm gonna
that's
put on this. I'm
very.
gonna wear this Sunday dress. I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna see how many I can. block. Yeah, that's a fact. I don't know what it does for them. I guess it fuels their fire, whatever it is. I don't know. But me, I don't got no time for it.
It's
Like,
petty and it's
it
childish,
is.
in
That's
my
why I said
opinion.
I don't have no time for it. That's a
Like,
fact.
you got, well, anyway, I'm not even gonna go down that road because I only talk about me and my actions and what I've done, and I don't get none of that. But it's cool. It may
Yeah,
whatever.
correct.
But oh my, oh
No,
my,
but he's not lying about that. We're in this time where women is like, what do you bring to the table? And some of them, I get it. We're taught to, dream big and think big. But at the
Mhm,
same time, we got to be humble and be more realistic. Like, I'm more realistic. Yeah, in my mind, I want to be with Janet Jackson. I want to be with Nia Long, right? In
mhm,
my mind,
mhm,
that's great. But again, I want to be realistic, and I'm gonna have a around the way girl, like LL said, a
mhm,
normal woman. Like me, again, I'm like you. I've always been like that. I need the mental stimulation.
mhm,
Yeah, you got to be attractive. I got to be able to stare at you, look at you, and be like, damn, she fine. But at the same time, I need this up here because I
mhm,
get bored easily. So if I'm not challenged, remember I told you, I want to be able to talk about the moon, the stars, politics, this, that. I'm well diverse in a lot of conversations. So I could sit there and watch Nat Geo all day long, binge watch it, History Channel. You know what I mean? That in watch sports. Like I love it all, but I gotta be challenged. All that physicalness, the BBLs and all of that don't do nothing for me. It's cool to look at,
right.
you driving by, oh man, okay. I see you, mama. And just keep it going. But I'm not gonna, oh my God, yeah, yeah. I see, like, listen, man, I be seeing men like he said a lot. Like I see the men that she told him no, I'm all set, I'm straight, I got a man, this and that, and the guy's still being persistent. Me, once you tell me you're good, I'm 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 going the opposite way. I'm not gonna still keep trying to push it. But we're in those times where I don't know with some of these, I don't know if they're young YNs or whatever you want to call them, the label you want to put. Once I hear you're straight, oh, okay, all right, sweetheart, have a great day. I'm not gonna sit there and keep trying, keep
Yeah,
trying. That's just ridiculous to me. If I got to do all of that, then it's not even worth it for me.
true.
You know, it's too
Because
much.
there's so many other options that you're going to come up against wherever you are, whatever you're doing. It may not happen that day, but it could be the next day. So,
Right.
so Peach said that she was friends first with her partner. I agree. I do
That's the
that.
that's the best
Having
thing to
a
do.
friendship
You got to
first,
build that foundation. You have
you
to.
need to have conversations and just on a very relaxed level. And
Mhm.
then instead of jumping straight into it, and then you find out, oh, this isn't the person that I really want to be with. Let's just
Correct.
keep it on a friends level. Let's have conversations, laugh and talk, go hang out, not anything, any, seriousness or this is my person or I'm your person. Let's just see where this goes.
Hmm.
And that way, if we decide
Hmm.
afterwards, like,
Correct.
yeah,
But there's people that's they're putting timelines on certain things.
well, you're
Like,
not getting ready to waste my time now. That's 100%.
yeah.
If we have spent time together, we've gotten to know each other,
Hmm.
and time is passing, months and months and months, and there hasn't been any definition, like, it's
Hmm.
got to be I'm not getting ready to just still focus on you, especially if you are made aware of how I feel. I believe in
Correct.
being honest with how I feel. I'm going to let you know how
That's
I
a
feel.
fact. That's a
So
fact.
if I let you know, hey, this has been like 3, 4 months. I really like you. This is cool. What are we doing? Where are we? Then
Yeah.
we need to have a conversation. But if you tell me some stuff like, are we still figuring it out? I'm not for sure. Deuces. You don't know what the heck you want. I don't have time for that.
I'm like you too. Like at the beginning, I'm putting all my cards on the table. Meaning, like I'm letting you know what it is. What I again, a lot of people are not having these conversations or asking these type of questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, are you? A lot of and again, a lot of people lie. Oh yeah, I do want to be in a committed relationship, and then you realize that person was married. And we can't sit here and say,
Guilty.
oh, it's men. No, it's a lot of women doing this stuff too. There's a
Yeah, they
lot of
are.
women doing that too.
Yeah.
Again, I know, I personally knew somebody that made sure she would go to the next city over to do her dirt. Yeah. She didn't do it nowhere where in her state, but she would go to the next state. I said the next city, but the next state to do her dirt. Yeah, and I knew a dude that did that same thing too. He would fly to the south and go do stuff. Sometimes he was going to the paradise, the islands. Now that's being exposed. Yeah, the DR and all of that. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why now when you go you see some of these guys like the passport bros and stuff, you'll see them recording, showing stuff, and then sometimes if you see them putting cameras down, that's because somebody is pointing at them like, yeah, because a lot of men from the US are getting caught up. Remember, I told you that too, right? Remember, I sent you something where that was the topic
Mm.
that I told you I was on the show. Why is American men going out the country to marry women?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
because of how the programming of American women. Again, now when we are of a certain age, I don't feel like we fall in that category. I feel like it's the generation underneath. I'll probably say from like younger than 35 is in that realm. You know what I mean? Or maybe 30, 32, somewhere around there and younger is in that where who's talking about life partners anymore? Who's talking about putting a ring on it anymore? You know?
There's
Uh,
been a disconnect somewhere. And people need to we need to go back to that, because the whole values of marriage and relationship and all of that has just gone down. Like nobody there's nothing, and I get this, not everybody is built for marriage or want to get married or this and that and the third. But if you have someone in your life that wants that and you don't want that, you need to
mhm,
let them know. Like, don't waste their time. Don't put them in a situation that they would, you would end up potentially hurting their feelings. So Kiva said it comes down to what the intent of getting to know each other was about. Exactly. What was the purpose? You know,
correct.
I I will not. I don't know why I just thought about this, but maybe a year or so ago, I was on a dating app and I got connected to this guy,
Hmm.
and he was a truck driver, and
Hmm.
he seemed like he was cool. Things were fine, but all he wanted was to smash. That's it. Like when
He's
he's
a truck
on the road,
driver. He probably
and
got a whole family at home.
I'm
He
like,
probably got a whole
sir,
family. Yeah, he's on the road.
I'm like, sir,
Yes.
excuse me? Yeah, no, this ain't gonna work. He was like, well, I appreciate it. I wish you all the best. And I got like, what just happened here? What is going on?
But let me ask you the question though. Did you respect his honesty though?
Absolutely. I got
Okay,
right
that's
off.
cool.
I didn't say anything negative. I said, all right, I wish you well. And
Yeah,
I
exactly.
disconnected. Like, what am I gonna do? What am I supposed to like cuss him out or something? No, that's what you want to do. Because that's what I've actually had a married man on a dating app. And then he disappeared. And I was like, I was new to dating. And I'm trying to figure out like, why he just disappeared? What happened? And I
Mhm.
had somebody else had to tell me, oh, he was married or in a relationship and got caught. I was like, oh my God, people do this stuff. Yes, they absolutely
They
do.
do. I have some homies that are married, happily married, and they wear their rings proudly, and women will come up to them and be like, I see it already on your finger. I just want you for one night. Yeah, women, yes. This is what I'm saying. We're in a time, to me, back to what you were saying, we're in a time where I'm not trying to make excuses by blaming the device that we be on, how we everything is accessible to us, right? Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is back then, right? A married man, when wifey wasn't at home, she could be probably be at work, right? He would grab the Playboy magazine. You get what I'm saying? And do
Mhm,
his thing.
mhm,
Now, then I don't even know if they still selling those, but the point I'm saying is you can go on these devices and it's there for you, right?
mhm,
That's one. Two, this like I said, people are traveling, going to the next state. You like you was talking about the truck driver, he's on the road. Wifey could be over here on the East Coast. He's over here on the West Coast. If he
Mhm.
does something she doesn't know
Right,
about what you get what I'm saying? So
right.
we're at that time where those morals and values is I'm not saying people don't have that, but like you said, there was a form of disconnect. You know what I'm saying? And again, we could sit here and blame it on the music. We could blame it on how TV changed. You know what I'm saying? Now, like you could just watch a regular TV show and they showing you everything. Back in the day,
Yeah,
we didn't see all of that coming up on the TV. You barely could see a
right.
scene on our TVs. It was scrambling. You had to fix the hanger on the back of the TV and all this other stuff just to get a clear image. Now it's just everywhere. You know what I mean? You can go on Instagram and just see these women just showing everything. Not only
Yeah. What's going on with your signal? It's kind of going in and out. It's choppy.
yeah, I know. I hear it too. I hear it. How do I sound
All
now?
right.
Do I sound clear? Or I hear it scrambling a little bit still too.
It's still scrambling. But we got the gist of what you were
Yeah.
saying. Got the gist.
Well,
Kiva said it's kind of like having morals are frowned upon. Exactly.
correct.
Well, I'm gonna always stand on mine. Like you not give no. I'm watching other people like you guys are some idiots. Like here we are, and there are women, and we're gonna get off here, but there are women that's making it look bad for us that are good and that really want something substantial, something
Correct.
that lasts. And it's the same way there are men that's making it bad for other men because I'm looking at whoever approaches me like, okay, what's your angle? Like, what game are you gonna try to pull? So I don't give him a fair chance because I'm critiquing everything that he does. And the same way with some good men that really want good, solid, strong women, they're like, okay, is she after my money or is she at what does she want? Does she want me to whatever? So they're out here making it look bad, and it's so annoying because I've witnessed some stuff, and I just want to go just beat people up. Like why? Because here I am, you making this look bad for me, and I'm not like you. So
Yeah.
anyway, I digress. This has been good. I'm glad you came on here. So we
Yeah, I have
got
to.
go back and forth like that. Kevis, thank you. You next time you got to come on here. So we first started off talking about the situation where the man said he didn't want the baby. She got pregnant. He didn't want the baby, and she still had the baby. Is he still financially responsible? And Mel said no, and we got into that, and then we rolled on over. See, this is why I love he said, she said, because we could go into multiple topics in one evening and just touch a lot of stuff. Thank you for coming on here and not having me talk to myself on this screen
Yeah,
and just doing some stuff back and forth.
I had to put on the cape and be a superhero and come.
Oh my God, whatever. See,
Say,
now you want to be a
listen,
superhero.
I had to make it interesting because I'm like, hold on. I get her
I
point,
appreciate
but I
that.
think we need that balance on here. You know what I'm saying? We need a little bit of the devil.
Yeah, we need a balance. We need a balance. So thank y'all so much for joining. This has been quite interesting. Quite interesting it is. So next Monday we will be back on. What is next Monday? That's the 7th. Yes, it'll be after the 4th. So y'all have a wonderful rest of your week. Be safe this weekend. If you're going out there dealing with these fireworks, please, please, please be safe. Because I remember when my first year in college, these nuts that I was with wanted to shoot off fireworks, and one of them just missed. The guy that I was dating just missed his face. So y'all be careful with these fireworks, being around them. Just enjoy your family, enjoy your friends. We'll be back on Monday, the July the 7th, with another amazing guest. I don't know, Mel, you got a day next month, right? I'll put you at the end of the month. We are about to go on our season break. So July will be the last month that we air the show until the next season comes along. So we're going to get a chance to regroup and do some great things. Don't forget about the app. So you'll be able to go back and watch some previous shows or previous clips. You'll be able to read articles, other information about other women, other organizations, things that are going on. Don't forget to subscribe. When that app actually launches, we will let you know so you're able to do that. Thank you, Mel. All right. Thank y'all for coming on this evening. I hope it was most enjoyable. It was for me. Anytime I can have someone else come on and me not do all the talking myself, it's a great day. It's a great day. So it's been fun. I will see you. Morgan and I will see you next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for another episode of the Boss Ladies Lounge. Y'all be safe. We'll see you next week.